So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our World Soil Day panel discussion. Our theme is Healthy Soil for Healthy Cities, and today we are joined by a remarkable group of young soil champions who are not only talking about change, but actively building it on the ground. And this conversation is important to us because what happens beneath our feet, that is in the soil, directly shapes what happens in our cities, in our food prices, our nutrition, our climate, and even the future of the youth. And our goal today is to explore real challenge and practical solutions, and also the role of young people in shaping healthier soils. So I'm Irene Odera, and I'll be guiding this conversation. I'll let the panelists introduce themselves. We'll start with Churchill.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Churchill Olgoch. I'm an MSc graduate in soil science, and I also share a passion in sustainable crop production systems in sub-Saharan Africa. My area of study was on soil biochemical processes within agricultural soils, and additionally, I possess vast experience in providing advisory services to farmers. Currently, I'm an intern at the University of Eldoret Soil Science Laboratory, and I'm honored to join in commemorating World Soils Day. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Suzette, you'll go next.
Good morning, I'm Suzette Kerubo Nyaguti. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm super excited to be part of this conversation in shaping our food security. I am an agricultural systems and soil science expert. And one of my best highlights in my experience is empowering the small scale farming systems in maximizing their potential by increasing their yields with 160% within a growing season. And what I can say regarding the theme for this World Soil Day is well nutrition, human beings is less disease will get less diseases occurrences. So, and for our nutrition to be achieved, we have to eat well. And hence, yes, our health highly depends on our soils. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suzette. Chege?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Gabriel Chege Ndwati. I work as a project intern for Colorado State University under a project known as Soil Cross-Cutting Project that is situated in Cairo. And my main objective is to be able to capacity build and train farmers on good soil health management practices so that we can be able to improve our soils from regenerative soil practices from degenerative soil management practices to regenerative soil management practices for good crop productivity and sustainability overall in our different farms. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And right now we'll dive into the soil challenges affecting our communities and our cities. And we have several questions that we'll be discussing. Starting with the first question, which was how do poor soil health in rural areas affect food prices and nutrition in the cities?
The thoughts I had about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from experience, when there's poor soil health, we are guaranteed of less production. That means that the farmer is not able to achieve the maximum or rather the potential yield. So when the potential yield is not reached, that means the cost of operation will be high. So, and that will make now the cost of food to also be high so as to try to balance out the operation, the cost of production. With the cost of food being high, that forces individuals to budget less on particular foods and either budget less or even omit particular foods on their meals. And hence, there'll be an imbalanced food nutrition within the household.
Thank you so
And
much.
also to add to that, soil health, yeah. And also to add to what Suzette has said, soil health encompasses so many different things in the soil. And you can't measure soil health directly, but through different indicators such as physical, biological, and also chemical indicators. As such, most of our crop production is carried out in rural areas, right? But overexploitation and little or no replenishment of nutrients lead to overall soil health in rural areas, thus affecting crop production in these areas. Therefore, this leads to a wide yield gap result in comparison to the potential yield.
Can add another one, yeah. So
yes,
yeah, so by the fact that we have poor soil health in our different farms that are situated in our rural areas, we tend to have foods that are inadequate in terms of nutritional value because most poor soils tend to have problems with nutrients, and by this we tend to have a problem whereby most of the food produced are not in terms of quality. Their quality in terms of nutrients are not per what is required. So when fed to different people around the cities, most people don't get the actual value of that food price that they're supposed to get. So this might lead to malnutrition to both people. For instance, if you look at people around the cities, for instance, Nairobi, just adjacent to Nairobi, we have a county by Kiambu. So this county, they pride themselves through production of livestock. So if you have poor soils and they're growing fodder on those farms, you tend to have crops or you tend to have fodder that is of inadequate nutrients. So when fed on animals, this tends to have a negative effect on those particular animals, which leads to low quality milk when fed to urban centers. So that might be one of the causes of poor soil health in the rural centers. Another thing that I would add that Kerubo mentioned it is that, and Churchill tried to mention it, the fact that we have a yield gap. This tends to lead urban centers spending more on imports from other countries or other neighboring countries. This leads to high prices of foods as what is compared to as our rural areas might be producing more food production if we tended to have more soil health or good soil health in the different farms in our rural areas.
Okay, thank you so much for all those amazing comments. Yes, another question posed by the audience was, how can farmers regenerate soil in ways that strengthen food security for growing towns and cities? That's our second question.
I find that is just simply frequent soil testing in accordance to the crop type being grown. Simple.
So that's one, and then another one. When we say regenerate soil health, we mean when we say generally regenerate soils, we mean a soil that has been depleted of different soil nutrients and has already been tested. So how do we move on, or how do we improve these soils? So we improve these soils through different mechanisms that are able to, one, restore the soil nutrients capability, and then two, be able to be sustainable for production. So one of the ways that I think people can be able to do to be able to regenerate these soils, one is through application of various agroecological options, and these agroecological options are such as use of compost manure, use of biochar, and use of boma compost. That is one. And then two, if you have a farm and you tend to think that it's a degenerate soil, and you can be able to grow different soil crops that are able to maximize the nutrients at that particular condition, such as you can grow a velvet bean that is used to solubilize the adsorbed P so that the plants can be able to use. And then third one, if you're in a farm that is just adjacent to a rural, to an urban center, it is advisable that probably you do a minimum tillage so that you tend to maintain the soil structure so that it can be able to mitigate a lot of effects that might be brought by various conditions that are predisposing to soil issues. So I think those are my comments on that particular part.
And also to add to what Chege has said, regenerative agriculture involves the use of natural resources that are found easily in the farm to bring back the productivity of the soil and also the farm profitability. Some other principles which could be incorporated in regenerative agriculture involves the returning of biomass after harvesting to the farm, and also improving the biodiversity, as Chege has said, like planting different crops such as intercropping, and also to integrate animals in the farm, so whereby you can use the animal refuse to regenerate the soils. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the responses. And our next question was on AI. And how can AI and satellite imagery improve soil monitoring in hard-to-reach rural and peri-urban areas? And I'll combine that question with the following question, which was, how can digital platforms integrate real-time soil health data to support climate-smart food production for both rural and urban markets?
So there are different artificial intelligence techniques that have been incorporated in agricultural production. I mean, you have different machine learning programs and deep learning, and also mathematical models which are used to generate soil maps and also to monitor soil health in different geographical areas. And then there's also the use of digital soil mapping, whereby the scientific community can use predictive soil maps to predict the soil condition in areas which have not been surveyed before, whereby you use minimum data sets of one area to calibrate the conditions of other areas. And you also need data from other sources, which include the meteorological data and also the satellite data. And among the satellite imagery, you can also use the unmanned aerial vehicles to capture images of vegetation, which can also guide in advising. For example, there are some different satellite imagery which has been used to relate chlorophyll concentration in vegetation and relating it to nitrogen. So based on that, you can advise on the practices that farmers could practice, and also you can use it to predict future events. Yeah, thank you. Also based on that, farmers who practice precision farming, there's some different, you can incorporate machine learning in some of the machines, whereby when you're carrying out your, let's say these large scale farmers, when they're carrying out the first, how do I call this? First tillage, you can able to, they can be able to gauge the different soil health indicators through the different artificial learning techniques that involves the soil pH, soil moisture content, and also different chemical properties of the soil, which can also advise the future practices, the practices that could be carried out during the crop production period. Yeah.
That's great. So that you want to comment?
Maybe I just add on the digital platforms that can, how digital platforms integrate real-time soil health data to support climate. Digital platform like weather forecasting platforms, or even simple WhatsApp chatbots, and these apps that have been invented to support in diagnosis of either mainly of crops, because a crop is an indicator of soil health. So the platforms, first of all, cancel out the geographical boundary challenge for an expert and enable the expert or advisor to empower the smallholder farmers. Secondly, the platforms allow easy access to this information so that the farmer can venture into farming from an informed point, and and these platforms offer not just information but science and data-based information that are up to date. So that's where how the real-timeness comes in. And also they give some of them, they have the feedback feature, whereby a feedback feature and also a conversation feature with an expert that is more of a virtual advisory, enabling the farmer to be able to solve a problem on the farm or even inquire due to maybe an experience in real time.
So Erin, can I say something that we are doing in the in my project, but it's related to this question, but I just want to kind of explain it. So when I look at this particular question, is talking about how can digital platforms, yeah? So as a project, we're developing we have a developed soil scanner that uses different rays, different gamma rays and different rays to be able to scan soil. And it works in correlation with the data collected over a period of time to be able to predict or to model the amount of carbon in that particular soil, so that we can be able to know how much amount of carbon we are able to sequestrate in the soil pool. So that is one of the technology that we are using to be able to mitigate climate change in the project that I'm in.
Thank you all so much for your responses. So maybe we can summarize it that through digital platforms, farmers are able to get information on different things, the weather alert, maybe market prices. They are able to, we have like these startups or like apps being developed to identify pests and different things on the farm. Okay, our next question is on what role can microbial inoculation play in restoring soils and improving crop productivity? And I'll combine that question with another one, which is on how does the soil biota contribute to climate mitigation? And what does this mean for building climate resilience, urban communities.
Yeah, so I can start. How does soil biota contribute to climate mitigation? Yeah? When you talk about soil biota, basically what you're talking about is soil microorganisms or soil fauna. And these are very important in one, decomposition that I would put into nutrient cycling in the soil. And this is very important when you're talking about plant growth that generally helps in using carbon from the atmosphere for photosynthesis. And this tends to remove carbon from the atmosphere and put it into the plant flora, which is important in mitigating climate change when you talk about carbon sequestration. Two, when you talk about decomposition, we're talking about breaking down of nutrients that are put into stable compounds that are able to be stored in the soil. And one of these compounds or one of these nutrients that are able to be stored into the soil might include one, carbon that is sequestrated in the soil pool, and then two might be harmful pesticides or toxic elements that might be toxic to plants, and they are able to be stored into the soil. And then when you talk about different so microbial inoculation, this is important when you talk about inoculation of plants that are able to be planted into the soil to be able to help them grow in better conditions. And there are different mechanisms that people use to inoculate. One, there are some phosphate solubilizing bacteria that are inoculated in different seeds that are able to solubilize the adsorbed phosphorus in the soil. These are able to help plant grow in very acidic conditions, and this helps farmers to be able to have food production. That's one. Two, the general rule that, or the general inoculation that is known, it's when plants are inoculated with rhizobium bacteria that helps to mineralize or are able to get nitrogen from the soil and to be able to help plant be able to grow and be able to sustain it until production for good crop productivity. Yeah, so I would mention those two.
I can add something that is general.
Okay.
The inoculants are generally also the biota. So the main purpose of having those in the soil is they regenerate the soil through the decomposition as mentioned, and also with that they improve the soil structure, hence making even the soil more spongy. With the soil being more spongy, then it means it builds up the resilience to various distractions. For instance, the weather events, and additionally they enhance the biodiversity within the soil and also above the ground at some point. So with that, it all works towards improving the farm's productivity potential. And hence, yes, it supports the farmers to achieve food security.
Can I go?
Yes, yes.
And then other positive effect of the soil biota is some of them act as biological control agents, such as trichoderma, which attacks root rot. Also, others such as mycorrhiza, the AMF, can be used to to increase P uptake and also water uptake in crop production. Therefore, they can be used to enhance crop production in regenerated soils. Apart from the microbial roles in nutrient availability through breakdown of organic matter, yeah, they also help in mineralizing the organic nutrients for plant uptake. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Which are some of the agri-tech innovations that are improving our soil health for the peri-urban farmers who are and the other farmers who are feeding the cities?
I will give one that I'm in the know of. There have been quite a very heavy development of portable soil pH meters that are cheaper, that's one, than the standard pH meters that are found in the lab, that are able to help, that are quite easier to work with, that can be able to help farmers be able to do their soil pH tests on their own, to be able to know if their pH is in the ideal range to be able to be used for productivity. So that's one of the innovations that it's helping to bridge that gap between poor soil health and good soil health, and to be able to what Suzette was discussing about soil testing being a problem. So that's one of the innovations that it is there out there that is helping farmers.
Okay.
Yeah, what about apps that can control the irrigation? You can use it remotely too. Yeah, does it apply here?
Fertigation,
yeah, fertigation and also irrigation. You can maybe you can control it using your phone.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on site.
Those mobile apps, yeah.
Yes.
And also, for me, when I think of this agri-tech, I also think of these simple things like even conservational agriculture is an agricultural technology, right? That can be used, or even precision agriculture, and those part of these solutions.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And now in the peri-urban farmers, because peri-urban is relevant in terms of the size, I believe the vertical farming is also something that is supporting even small households to have not just food security but food safety. And ile ya circle inaitwaje? The garden, kitchen gardens, also our one and only First Lady project.
I just wanted to add also something. I don't know if it is good to apply what different projects are doing, but I'll just mention what my project is doing. So we have developed a soil health toolkit that is farmer friendly, and it's compromised. It's comprised of different tests, and in those tests we have customized 4 tests so that farmers can be able to do participatory soil tests on their own. So in the soil health toolkit, we have 10 tests, but we have customized 4 of them that are farmer friendly, easier for the farmers to use, and they're able to get results instantly at that particular time. So this test, one of them includes pH, the other one includes soil texture, and then the third one includes particulate organic matter, known as generally POM. That is quite very important when you're trying to measure the amount of decomposable organic resource in soil. And then the fourth one is microfauna assessment. So that's one of the innovations that we're working on as a project, and it has actually gained quite a large following in smallholder farming systems due to the easier nature of the tests. And then 2, like Churchill mentioned when we were beginning, it uses available local materials that farmers can be able to access and do this test and be able to have a judgment of their soil health condition per that particular time. So that's one of the agri-tech that have been developed.
Does it mean does it mean it is a matter of the farmer purchasing, or it's something a local expert, an expert within the local community can use it as a means of agribusiness and empower the farmers there? Now, hence, the interpretation of the results is easy for him or her and the rest of the community. Like, is it something like where you buy individual?
No. It can be that we have a kit. We have assembled a kit. That is one, and then two, we have a soil data platform that you can be able to access and get into that platform and be able to find procedures and materials, and thirdly, ways in which you can be able to do those soil tests. So our target audience is on four phases. Like the first phase that you have talked about, individual farmer. We are targeting those individual farmers who can be able to do it for their own farms. We are targeting those farmers who can be able to do it for other farmers in terms of a commercial basis. But at the end of the day, we are talking about being able to bring soil testing closer to farmers. And then the third one, we have customized it to an extent whereby an organization such as University of Eldred, such as Calro, such as KEFIS can be able to actually they can purchase the kit, and they can also get into our soil data platform and be able to get access to this different information that has been validated across Kenya and Malawi and also Peru, and they can be able to get up-to-date data that has been done with those particular tests and they have been validated to an extent whereby we have confidence that the kind of results that you're getting, it's a result that can be able to inform you on the accurate and about the accuracy of the condition of your soil per that particular time. So we are not targeting individual farmer, we are targeting all the stakeholders that are in the business of regenerating their soil health. And one of the key challenges, like you mentioned, is soil testing. So we are bringing different easier and available materials and tests in form of a soil health toolkit to farmers so that they can be able to test the soils for themselves and have an informed decision on what to do next after getting the results. So about the interpretation of the results that they get, we have a soil data platform whereby we have customized also all the possible results that the farmers might get and the interpretation, and three, what they can be able to do to improve their soil health depending on the context of their results. I don't know if that makes sense, but generally that's the agri-tech innovation that's there.
It does, but
yeah,
maybe also
just to add
a follow-up question, maybe. Yes, to a farmer, like, is this farmer toolkit in a certain area, or how accessible is it, and how affordable is it? Also, does the farmer has to like pay based on subscription or buying the whole toolkit? And how are you guys ensuring like farmers are aware of it, are not just how are you making sure the farmers are aware of it? And secondly, how do a farmer learn how to use it also? Because I think that information is very important. Accessibility, affordability, and farmers getting to know about it.
Yeah, so in terms of accessibility, like I've said, you have customized it into two sense. So the first sense is that we have 4 tests that are farmer friendly. We tend to call them participatory soil health tests. And these tests are free to access. They are in our data. They are in our soil data platform. Yeah, so they are free to access. But the other 6 tests that includes the chemical test, you can be able to purchase the soil health toolkit, because we have partnered with an organization that is known as Shamba Sense, that is helping us redesign the soil health toolkit to those organizations that want to purchase it, so that they can be able to use it. One, for instance, an institution such as a university, they might want to use it in their curriculum. So we are designing it in a way that it is acceptable in that particular market. And then two, there are certain organizations that want to use it in their research purposes. So we are also targeting those audience. So in terms of accessibility, is designed on what a particular organization or a particular farmer wants. That is one. And then your second question was on, the first one was accessibility. The second one was affordability. Like I said, it is an open source soil health toolkit. If you get into our soil data platform or into the Shamba Sense data platform, you're able to get all that information. Everything is open source and free. And then the third one, your question
There's no
was?
subscription.
No subscription at all. Now, subscription is based on those particular organizations that want to use it as a commercial sense, because they have to get an individual to go and train them on how to do those tests. But when it comes to farmers, it's an open source, because our key audience is for those smallholder farming systems to be able to do those 4 participatory soil tests that is hinged on them understanding their soil health status as per that time. So by the time you're doing a soil sample to go and take it to Churchill in the soil lab, a farmer has an informed sense on what the soil is. For instance, yeah. So for instance, if I'm taking a soil sample to Churchill and I've already done some pH and some organic matter and some soil texture and some microfauna assessment, I'm able to tell Churchill my pH is probably 5.4, my POM weight is probably 0.1, and then my texture is probably sand, and then microfauna assessment in terms of abundance and diversity is probably very low. So by the time I'm having that information, Churchill already has an informed decision that your soil might be very poor, because if you have this condition predisposing it, then your soil health is basically poor. So if a farmer has this information, he's able to do some mitigation on his farm, so that to try to improve their soil health in successive seasons.
Okay, Churchill, you wanted
Thanks,
to add
Chege.
something?
Yes, I just wanted to add something on the take on regenerative agriculture.
Go
I
ahead.
think what I wanted to add is also the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, that is the UAVs. That is, recently we have seen the University of Eldoret, they've adopted it in applying herbicides and also pesticides on their crops. This is of great importance because it reduces vehicular traffic on agricultural soils. Therefore, it helps to reduce soil compaction. And then another thing is the use of GPS-guided machineries in farming, which will also help in informing precision agriculture, and also it will help in applying fertilizer according to the second point was on the GPS-guided machinery, which can be incorporated in precision farming.
Mm-hmm.
And you also mentioned the UAVs. You can elaborate. What are
such
those?
as drones.
Oh, okay.
These are unmanned aerial vehicles, which includes the drones and some other things that it doesn't involve any human on it. So it is just controlled remotely.
And also those what are these irrigation equipment like those used at Delamere, those big things? Those ones are also unmanned. It's not, it's a vehicle. Hmm?
That one I'm not sure, but I'm aware of what you're
That's
talking about.
they're also
Yeah.
controlled from a local point. So I believe, and they also have a motor aspect. So I believe that it also falls into that, the UAV categories.
But it is not aerial, so
Oh, oh, it's not aerial, or it touches the ground. Oh yeah.
yes.
All right, on to
Cool.
our last question before we wind up. Our last question is, how can the young startups or like farmers group that have initiative that relates to soil health, how can they make a strong case for funding for their initiatives? That's basically for the young people and farmers groups who have like initiatives or initiatives that focuses on soil health. Maybe they should focus on the impact, the sustainability aspect to make a strong case for them to like get funding to be able to implement or
Me, I
scale.
think for me, I think it's a matter of leveraging on evidence and
Mhm. Data.
scalability,
Mhm.
and also the impact factor.
The sustainability part of it also.
And if it is scalable, it means it is sustainable. So
Okay.
yes, also sustainability it's
And
a
also the
matter of
impact on
leveraging
the
on
society.
the impact factor now. So
Yes.
it can have a social impact, an economic impact, development impact, political impact also. And yes, of course, the soil impact.
Okay, your last parting shot as we end the session and as people celebrate the World Soil Day today.
Yeah, thank you very much. So my parting shot would be soil is one of the most fundamental it's one of the most fundamental ecosystem that is able to thrive on its own and able to be used as a pool for climate mitigation. That is one, two, for crop production, and then three, for fodder production for livestock growth. So it's very important that we are able to regenerate our degenerated soils so that we can be able to do production of crops for sustainability of food. Thank you.
Actually, you're next.
Yeah, well, I like to say soil health translates to both good human and also animal welfare. So let's take care of our soils.
Is it?
I would like to my parting shot is let's start from an informed point. Information is a crucial key, or it's very key. And with an informed point, we are able to be agile and resilient to whatever form of distraction, either human, development, weather. Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining and contributing to this conversation, and also to our audience. Thank you for your questions. And let's continue working together for healthier soils and
The series.
healthier cities. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.